Hello and welcome to my show Indus Cuisine, and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. We're back with a new episode from the heart of Pakistan. Today's recipe is very interesting. It's a household favorite. Now when I speak about household favorite, it means a recipe that has been basically carried on to the generations right now from their mothers, their grandmothers and so on. This recipe is a household favorite and it is cooked usually in every household in Pakistan. Now the interesting part about Pakistani food or the Pakistani home cooking is that every food that we cook at home is very delicious. Why? Because we have a lot of ingredients that go in it, and yes, it is a little complex, but people who cook it every day, it's just super easy for them. Now if you look in Pakistan, there's so many companies who give you spices, or we also call them masalas, that are ready to cook, which means that you just have to open a packet and make the recipe. But when you talk about recipes which are made from scratch, this is how it's done. We have all the ingredients in front of you, and how will we add them to the food will be the question behind the execution of the recipe. So today's recipe is very interesting, and the name is basically Murgh Anda Curry. Now what does this name mean basically? It's a very easy name and it has a very easy meaning. So basically Murgh means chicken, anda means egg, and curry basically means curry. So in Urdu you call curry salan, but we will not say salan. Why? Because it will get really confusing, but it's a very easy recipe. So the ingredients are very simple. We'll be using around 5 to 6 eggs, which we shall hard boil. Now when I say hard boil, that means when the water comes to boil, you boil it for 10 to 11 minutes. Apart from that, you need around 4 tomatoes and 2 onions and some coriander leaves, which need to be fresh. Apart from that, you need a kilogram of chicken, and as you can see, we have eggs and chicken going in the recipe together. So we will cook it in a way which will be complementing both the main ingredients or both of the proteins. Apart from that, you will be needing 1 cup of oil, some garlic, some ginger, some cinnamon and some green chilies. You need some sugar. Now you might be thinking, where does the sugar come in from? The sugar basically means that you will add this tangy flavor to it. So sugar, salt and everything nice. Apart from that is cumin, red chili flakes and some star anise. These are all the ingredients for today's recipe, and how will we do it? We'll do it in 2 ways. So first what I'll do is I'll bring a wok and I shall bring it to heat. So the wok is over here, which I shall place after placing the pan first. The pan needs to come to heat, the wok needs to come to heat. Why? Because we will make it simultaneously together. So increase the heat to full both places, but once the pan over here dries out, then only we'll add the oil. Apart from that, I shall just add a liter of water. Why? Because we just want to boil the eggs, and whenever I boil the eggs, I usually add some salt. Why? Because it gives a nice layer or coating on the outside, which prohibits the egg from breaking or cracking, and it also fills up the cracks of the egg. So now what I'll do is I shall just place the eggs carefully, and do not drop them. Why? Because usually people crack them when they drop them. So just place it in the water and give it a lid and let it cook on low heat once the boil starts. So as I told you, once the water comes to boil, count 10 to 11 minutes. Before that, it shall just be the time where it is coming to boil. Do not count that as time. Okay, now the pan over here has come to heat. What I'll do basically is I shall add 3 tablespoons of oil, and that's about it. The later recipe of, for example, the oil will also be used later on, not right now. I just need to coat it properly, and as you can see, it is coated well. Now we shall add a few ingredients. What I need first for this recipe is I need 2 small onions, which I shall just finely slice. So for this recipe, I shall take the root out of the onions, keep it on the side, slice it like this, and then finely slice them. So this recipe will require the onions to be finely sliced, not chopped. Why? Because that will be the texture we shall be requiring for this recipe. It's super easy. It can go hand in hand and you can do it properly. So this is done. Turn it around and go super close and super easy. Step by step you have to go so that you get the best result possible. Clean the blade. And the oil is piping hot. Now what I'll do is I shall just pick up all the onion and transfer it over here. As I've told you, slowly and gradually will take you a long way, and that's how it should be done. Pick the roots throw it in the bin, which is over here on the side, and now just mix it up. Now I'm just basically mixing it up so that all the onions basically get a nice coating. Add a little bit of salt so that the onions start browning in a quicker manner. Now just spread it out, pick up the wok, flatten it out, and that's done. Reduce the heat to medium and let it fry slowly. Okay, now apart from this, what do we need? We need to basically prepare a very smooth curry for this recipe. So what I'll do is I shall pick up some ginger. I shall just cut this much first and I shall just slice it. So go super close so that you get the best result possible, as I've told you before. And this is done. So this way the ginger will go in and the remaining ginger will be used as ginger water. Now you might be thinking, why have I been very focused towards the point of ginger water? Why? Because it gives a very smooth texture. As you can see, the eggs have come to boil, so reduce the heat to medium low. Why? Because you don't want the onion, you don't want the eggs basically to bounce and clash into each other and break. So over here it's coming to low. What I'll do first now is I shall just pick up the ginger, slice it. When this is done, I shall just bring the jug forward, which should be very thoroughly washed. Transfer all of this over here and add just half a cup of water. Half a cup of water goes in. Now what I'll do is I shall just take a pinch of salt, transfer it over here, place the lid on top, take it at the back and process it into a super fine paste. As you can see, this is done. What I'll do now is I shall just shake it and transfer all of this water over here. You can see it's a fine watery texture. This is what you want. Apart from that, what I'll do is I shall pick up around 6 pieces of garlic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and now process this into a super fine paste as well. But the water over here would be half a cup for this one, not too much. Why? Because I want the texture to be thick as compared otherwise. Give it a lid. You can use the same jug, it's fine. Why? Because ginger and garlic go hand in hand. That's fine. As you can see, everything is done. It's smoothly perfected. What I'll do is I shall just take the same ramekin and transfer all of this water over here. The water goes here and I shall just rest it over here. Now what I'll do is I shall basically get this cleaned up and then I'll let you know what to do next. Don't go anywhere. We're still doing the show. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. So now as you can see, everything is done. What I'll do is I shall just pick up one green chili first, keep it like this, and we shall finely slice it and go super close. When this is done, I shall just pick it up, transfer it to the oil over here and keep the remaining on the side. Now what I'll do is I shall just fry these till it gets a little more brown, and till the time this fries, we'll go for a short break, and once the eggs are boiled properly and the onions are properly browned, then we can only come back. We have to do it in one go. So we'll go for a break, and once we're back, I'll let you know what to do next. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. Welcome back. You're watching Indus Cuisine and I'm your chef Basim Akhund. During the break, I just waited for you, and as you can see, the eggs are boiled over here. Now we shall just go quickly through the recipe. Now what do I need? Basically, I need to add the remaining oil to the wok, which I've cleaned completely. I shall transfer it over here and partially fry the eggs slowly and gradually. So I'll increase the heat over here and place the eggs very delicately. Why? Because some eggs start breaking, and I shall just move them around in the wok by frying them a bit. Why? Now what will happen is once you fry the eggs, the outer skin of a boiled egg is usually very soft. So it will get a little tough, it will give a nice texture, it will give a nice flavor, and it won't break in the gravy. So now what do we need for this recipe? So now as you can see, the next step is basically adding the tomatoes. So what I'll do is I shall make a very super fine tomato paste and keep an eye on the eggs. As you can see, you can hear them basically cooking, so move it. Now One of the sides is nicely light golden, the other one needs to get golden too. So I'll keep the chicken on the side just for the second and take the eye of the tomato out. Now once the eye of the tomato is out, what I'll do is I shall convert this into a super fine paste, and that will give you the perfect texture possible for this recipe. So just take this out, keep it on the side and open the jug and transfer all of these tomatoes inside. Convert it into a super fine paste first. And till the time this converts into a paste, what we'll do is we shall add the ginger water over here. The tomatoes I've converted into a super fine paste. I shall just pick up the eye of the tomato and transfer it to the dustbin over here. And always keep an eye on the eggs also. Now turn them around once again so that the other side gets a nice texture. Take the lid off, place it over here and transfer all of the tomatoes into this. A curry basically means something which is super fine in the form of a texture, and that's what I want for this recipe over here. So now what I'll do is I shall add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and the remaining garlic water in. This goes in, I'll keep it on the side, and now I'll start mixing it properly. Slowly and gradually will take you a long way, remember that. And now increase the heat to full and bring it to boil. Okay, till now this is boiling, what I'll do is now I shall add a few things. What I need is I need the green chilies to have a very smooth texture. For that, what I need is I need flavor. So now what I'll do is I shall pick up the jug again and then convert it into a super fine paste so that we get a nice spicy element and a very nice flavor. So now once everything is done, pick up the jug over here, transfer the green chilies, only 3, not too much, add the water and convert it into a super fine paste also. Keep it over here and process it. As you can see, good blenders take you a long way. This is done. Now I shall just transfer it over here. Now, as I've told you, this will have a very smooth texture, and that's what I want for this recipe today. Bring it to boil, increase the heat to full, and as you can see, the eggs are done over here. So I shall just transfer them now slowly over here. The eggs go here. And now we shall bring the same oil to heat again. I shall just fry the chicken before I add it over here. Why? Because that is the flavor. Whatever you've used, you do not need, you can keep it at the back. Remember, whatever is not clean, keep it on the side. It will always keep your station super clean. Now what I'll do is I shall take another pinch of salt, transfer it here and start mixing it. This gives a very nice smoky texture to the chicken, and also evaporates all the water. So as you can see, the chicken is being fried properly, and once it's fried for at least around 2 to 3 minutes on high heat, then we shall transfer it. Over here, the sauce is nice and the gravy is smooth. Now what I'll do is whatever I don't need, I shall keep it at the back. And now we shall go in with the spices. Add some red chili flakes, some over here, some in the chicken over here. Add some cumin seeds over here. Some go at the back over here. Why? Because once you fry them, you get a nice flavor. And then we shall pick up a few pieces of star anise, the small ones around 2 to 3, and add it to the water over here. Now whatever you've used goes on the side, as you can see, and start mixing it. On the other hand, also keep an eye over here. And let the chicken fry on high heat. Change the side of the pieces. Why? Because both the sides need to get equal oil when it's frying, remember that. Almost everything is done. Now what I'll do is I shall just let this fry for 2 to 3 minutes and let this cook on high heat also for 2 minutes. So till I'm cooking, we'll just clean up and then I'll let you know what to do next. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Indus Cuisine. So as you can see, the chicken has fried and the eggs are also ready. Now what I'll do is I shall just take a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, transfer it over here and start mixing it. This will give the recipe a nice flavor. When the tomato and the sugar basically combine, the flavor always increases, remember that. Okay, now everything is done. What I'll do basically is now I shall swap. I shall bring this and keep it over here, and I shall bring this and keep this over here. Now I'll increase the heat over here to full again and just switch the stove off completely. Now mix it up once. As you can see, the chicken is nicely fried. The flavor is beautiful. Now just pick it up and transfer all the goodness from here. Now as you can see, everything is mixing. Take it up. And now mix it up. Fold it. And this is almost done. Now give this a lid. You don't need it anymore. Let it be on the side and give this a lid again. Now what I need is I need to cook the chicken more for at least you could say 5 to 6 minutes. But before that, what I'll do is I shall just pick up a little bit of coriander, which needs to be super fresh. Turn it around and finely chop it. Keep mixing it. Why? Because if there are any sticks, you want to completely chop those even. Clean the board, pick it up and transfer all the goodness over here. This is done. Now what I'll do is I'll add another cup of water. This will also dilute the gravy, but it will give the chicken a chance to cook properly till the last point. Why? Otherwise the chicken will stay raw and you won't get the best flavor possible. So I've mixed everything. Now we'll cook it for another 10 minutes on low heat. Until then I'm just cooking. We shall just clean up and then I shall show you the final look of the recipe. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Indus Cuisine. So as you can see, today's recipe is ready. It's a single serving right now. I've given 2 eggs and 2 pieces of chicken with some nice gravy, which is also known as curry. You can have it with rice or with naan bread or pita bread. It's your choice. It is easy, delicious and easy to cook, and it is something you can cook and basically freeze and then defrost and use. I hope you liked today's episode. I'll see you in an episode of Indus Cuisine. Have a wonderful day, people. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.